Welcome back to Not Gospel Studios. I'm Cliff, the beardless wonder. I did not age regress. I shaved my beard on accident, and now I look stupid. Feel free to leave a comment about how foolish I look beardless. A beard is men's makeup. My friend Jay's in the studio with me today, also known as Kilo Fury. He podcasts, he travels, he's got insight like you wouldn't believe. You got to check my friend out.
Beard intact.
Beard intact. He's got a good, sweet beard. If you meet him, you'll never be the same. Jay, welcome to the studio.
Thank you. I'm not sure what to do after that.
The idea of friendship has been on my mind. And so I wanted to talk to you about it because you and I are friends. And there are two ways to introduce your friend to the world. One is like the facts and like this other human that I know. Or pump your friend up to the world. Or pump the world up to meet your friend. You know what I'm saying?
You caught me off guard with that. I didn't know where you were going.
When I started the idea of podcasting and some of these other ventures, podcasting, writing my dad's book, Man of God, which you can get. It's back here on my bookshelf, of course. I have lots of copies. I'd love to send you one. When I started to do all that, write the book and do a podcast, I had two friends I talked to, and one was like, you're not going to write a best-selling novel. Or, man, how serious are you going to take podcasting? Which may have been a realistic response, you know. But then I had another friend that when I said I was going to podcast and thinking about writing a book, who was like, that's awesome. And they started looking up on their phone ways to self-publish. And they're like, dude, I think you can totally do it. Like, here, it says here it takes so many days and this much money to get it, like, edited and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. And he was doing more research on the idea I just shot out there than I had done already because he was supporting me as a friend. And both of them are like lifelong friends. And the responses were totally different. So the question that I'm running through right now is, Jay, do you have good friends right now in your life? That puts you on the spot because like people may watch this.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I do.
Of course, Herb.
Yeah.
All right, well, do you have,
Present company included.
at this season in your life, do you think you have a big enough posse right now of close friends?
Well, they say that the fewer friends you have, the closer they are, right? So it's better to have a few really close friends than a whole bunch of
Acquaintances,
you know, people you call like Facebook friends, you know, they're not really friends. You see them in public and you don't even say hi.
If you don't know my birthday, except for being reminded from Facebook, we're probably not close friends.
Right. Yeah,
which is sad because
exactly.
most of my really close friends, I don't get the day right, but I know the month. I'm like, I know your birthday's in March, not yours, but I was thinking about this with another friend.
So I've never considered, I guess, when you talk about having a big enough posse to need that many friends. I've never needed a whole lot of friends, you know, just those who really know me, you know.
Well, what creates the need for friends? That's the thing. Is like if you're the amount and the number of good friends you have, whether or not you feel like you have the right amount depends on your need, your necessity for friends. Like at this stage in your life, then how necessary do you think it is to function well and not just live and breathe and walk around, but to thrive? How necessary do you think close friendships should be or ought to be or is for you?
They're very important, of course. I think a lot of people who are married or have, you know, a significant other, their best friend is their spouse.
Sure. They've always got that one person.
Yeah, and that sometimes that's all people have. For me, I've had the pleasure and advantage or privilege to have close friends besides a spouse. so that they can actually talk to me about the problems I'm having with my spouse.
You can go to free counseling.
Yeah, exactly. You do need a third party sometimes to bounce ideas off of.
Dude, agreed. I personally feel like requiring friends is normal. Some people say, well, you shouldn't, like, grow up. You should be able to live out in the woods by yourself just fine. And I'm like, nah, I'm pretty convinced that interpersonal relationships is required for thriving as a human. I'm not saying you can't survive out in the woods by yourself. You can't be like freaking Tom Hanks on the island. Wilson, you'll make it.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about thriving and pushing on and being better the next day than you were today. Mm-hmm. I feel like interpersonal relationships and friendships are like vital. Here's my problem though. Do you think there is anything in our culture pushing the significance of friendships and being a friend, or even teaching people how to be a good quality friend? And the reason I ask that is because of those two responses I told you about. At first, I was super offended from one of my friends who responded in this way that I thought was terribly negative. And I'm like, why couldn't you just be supportive? But then I begin to think, is there anything in our culture in the past, since I've been alive, that is promoting and pushing the importance of being a friend, not a man and wife, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend? Because you see, every day there's all this focus on getting a relationship. But is there anything in our culture that you can think of that is like pushing the institution of friendship and how vital it is?
No, not that I can think of. Not at all. Like even in school, like you're not taught to necessarily be a friend, or you're actually taught just how not to bully.
Just to be nice.
Yeah.
Or,
not offensive.
Not even how to be nice, just how to not be bad.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting there like, well, what's the opposite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can be nice, but that doesn't make you a good friend.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can be nice and somebody needs to be
firm.
Yeah, firm, seriously talked to. Yeah.
If I had a good friend here, they would have stopped me from shaving my beard and looking like a 15-year-old again. Yes, I agree with you. I could have a good friend to give me the hard truth.
No,
don't do it. You look so stupid. I told you this. Judah, my 3-year-old, literally looked at me and double taked. He was watching some show and glanced over and then goes. It was like he stopped and I saw something that didn't, the glob did not look right over here. I'm gonna look again, and he goes, "Why you face look weird?" And I was like, "Well, thank you." So yes, a good friend could have told me to not do that, but I was thinking about it from a scriptural perspective. As a Christian, it's like, well, then obviously, what does the Bible say about it? And so, in the Old Testament, God refers to Abraham as his friend, and it says he was a friend of God, and that's big. Abraham started the whole thing. The whole chosen people of God were from Abraham. And God had Abraham's back. God made him promises and provided for him and took care of him. And then you flash forward to Jesus, who said, "Greater love hath no man than laying down his life for his friends." And you see him with the disciples. And there are times when he was like, looking at Peter and saying, "Get thee behind me, Satan." He was giving him hard truths, but then he was also providing for him, taking care of him. He was trying to make them better every single day. You ought to do this, you ought not to do that, and leading by example. And I'm sitting there going, okay, so these are all the examples I have of friendship and how important friendship is. Like, no greater love you have than you lay down your life for your friend. And there's nothing in my life that on earth here and in our culture that talks about the significance of friendship. It's all self-based.
Yeah.
And why do you think that is?
I think because we are so flawed individually that we feel like we have to fix ourselves first before we can help somebody else. That might be one philosophy.
Are you saying people might think, who would want to be my friend? I've got to get my crap together before, so I can be, because I'm not good for anybody, that kind of thing?
Perhaps, there's all kinds of, there's probably thousands of self-help books, right? And self-improvement, self-development.
Yeah.
There's no how to make your friends better.
Well, but
I mean, what I've always said is self-development books are actually not for you. They're for other people. Because if you lived alone in the woods by yourself, it doesn't matter how good of a person you are.
Yeah.
It only matters about your interaction, your relationship with others.
It seems like everything in the culture is geared towards increasing your value. Like go out and get a better job, get more money. You and I were just talking about career opportunities and all this kind of stuff, and being excited about getting to travel and do more things and make more money and all this kind of stuff. But if real good friendships are valuable, the way to increase your value is to be a good friend to more people. Like if you're a good friend and everybody knows you as a good friend, and everybody likes being a friend with you, you are more valuable to all of those people in a genuine way than just, you need $100, I got you.
Yeah.
Because I'm loaded. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you feel like that puts a burden on that individual, though? Like, because the more friends you have that you're a good friend to, the more that they'll require you to be a good friend,
Probably. Well, and maybe that's the thing. People get caught up in their life and their thing. I've got my kids and my wife or my whatever, or I've got, or like you were saying, I'm trying to figure out my next career path and all this stuff, and I've got opportunities that I'm trying to do. Like the last thing I want is to spend an hour thinking about your burdens and your problems. Maybe that is the thing.
I mean, you can do that definitely with a couple of close friends, but I think if you, like I said, if more people are attracted to you because you're such a good person and a good friend, then it's like you're gonna attract people that you can't fit into your life because you've already got obligations and friendships that you've got to maintain. And it's like, do you add a new friend? If are other friends going to suffer because of that? Your time with one person is going to be taken away.
Well, do you think technology has shifted what our idea of what a good friend would be? And because I just thought this now, because like before the phone, your posse, your circle was who you hung out with, physically hung out with, and you would be, if they had a meltdown in the middle of hanging out, you had to console and be there. And now it's like, it went from that to when I was younger, you could sit on the phone for 2 hours, and those were your close friends, but you still had to have hangouts and like get-togethers where everybody could do their thing. Like you had that all the time to have friends. And now I just feel like it's so easy to connect, which I'm grateful for because I was on the road and I would use FaceTime to see my kids. But that shifts the definition or our perspective of what a good friend is. Oh yeah, me and this guy are way good friends. We talk at least like once a month on the phone or FaceTime,
Yeah.
If you could flash back 30 years and somebody said that, they'd be like, you don't even know them. You have like a 10-minute conversation once a month?
Yeah.
I want to be a better friend to people, but because I'm trying to, like, the things I want to be known for is I love God. I work for the kingdom. I love people. I love my family, love people. And I think I also want to take inventory of my friendships. If that makes sense. Like friendships are super important. The ones I'm investing time in that don't resemble a quality friendship are probably a mistake.
Yeah. I was thinking you can be a friend. Like I said, if you were like with the neighborhood kids whenever you were younger, like that doesn't mean you're necessarily close with them. That's just the neighborhood kids. That's who you play with, who you hang out
safety
with.
Group.
Yeah, like you can't really go to the next neighborhood, So, but you had to be a friend to those people, It's like you may not be super close, but if one of them got hurt, it was up to the kids in the neighborhood to be like, okay, go get an adult, or, let's comfort this kid that, needs this right now. And I think as an adult, you got to be that way too. Like, you can be a stranger and you can be a friend to them.
Dude, nowadays we'd be like, this kid's a hero. Look what he did. He went and got the parents and and they showed up and helped this kid out with a broke arm. And back then it would have been like what was expected. Like somebody go get the parents.
Why didn't you come get me sooner?
What's the matter with you? You couldn't get somebody's bike? You couldn't jog over here. You had to walk back home. This kid's got a broke arm.
That's what happens when you do stupid stuff, kids.
Dude. Oh man. Is there anything that could be done culturally to stress the importance of those interpersonal friendships, like keeping them going, and what it means, the value of being good at that, the value of being a good, close, concerned, empathetic friend? Mm-hmm. Is there anything culturally that could be done to make that more appealing to people? Because I feel like that's not appealing. Even the self-help and all that, I think now is just go out and get yours. Mm-hmm. Just go out and get yours and become more desirable, not more beneficial.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I've heard that some churches have are like small groups. Sometimes it's couples, sometimes it's, young people, sometimes it's old people, or, just women, just men. Those things I think would be very beneficial, especially in the church setting, because it's not just let's get together for a class. It's like, let's go out and be friends. We may just be going to church together, but these are the people you should be friends with. Those in the church.
It's like you got to be intentional with it.
Yeah. And I think, like you said, having organizations or some sort of organization between people and communities to actually promote friendship or that type of empathy and care and concern for your friend, your neighbor, your community. I think that's what it comes down to.
Dude, I swear, I think Facebook has destroyed friendship. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Facebook's evil. It's destroyed friendship. I don't know. Not Facebook alone. But I think about that when you said that, right when you said that, by like on the tail end of it, I was thinking about like a buddy of mine, David Murdoch, that he and I ran around for like 2 years solid, just like 2 or 3 years, like through high school, like middle school into high school, just best buds, stayed at his house, and he stayed at my place, and we were just super close friends. And he went off, moved back to New Jersey. I stayed here, and we met up on Facebook again. He asked to be my friend, requested friendship on Facebook, and we've messengered like 3 or 4 times in nearly 20 years, But had I not had Facebook, had I wanted to keep a friendship with this person, it would have had to been way more personal. Mm-hmm. It would have had to been intentional. Like, hey, here's my address. When you move, send me a letter. Let me know your phone number, and then we'll call. We'll mail back and forth, send physical pictures, you know what I'm saying, like of stuff you got going on. You may even plan, hey, I'm going to this place on a vacation. I asked my parents if we could stop by here. Or even when you got older, and you driving yourself, it's like, hey man, I'm cruising through so-and-so and on my way to DC. I want to stop by Jersey or whatever. However that works. I'm not sure. I could have been way off on the geography. It's like, you're going to stop by New Jersey on your way to DC, idiot. Like maybe that's wrong. But I feel like you'd had to be way more intentional and purposeful, and I think it would have mattered more, because it definitely creates more memories as a human, more attachment to it. Man, we drove out and went up and saw so and so. Then, like, dude, we FaceTimed. I FaceTime a buddy I hadn't seen in 20 years. It's cool, and it is cool, but it also makes it trite, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. It trivializes it, and I wonder if that has diminished the value of a friendship.
Yeah, I feel like people don't get together, in person as much as they used to. Mm-hmm. Like, if you look back at even old TV shows, it was like friends were coming over every night, to somebody's house, or having dinner, or going to the picnic or whatever. And it seems like over the years that's just been lost for some reason.
Dude, did you ever see the show Parenthood?
Yeah, I think so. Sounds familiar.
Had the guy who used to be in Coach. He was the coach for of that old show,
Okay.
Coach.
Yeah.
He's the granddad of this whole family, and it's like all of his kids are in different stages of life, and they've got kids, and they get together during the show, like repeatedly, almost in every episode, and have a family dinner in the backyard. I don't know if it's like Sundays after church or Saturdays, whatever it is. There's always like a family dinner every single episode almost. It feels like, and I feel like that concept is so foreign to so many people.
Yeah.
You know, and friends are even further removed than that. Like your family, obviously, you're gonna have those kind of things. If mom and dad call and say, "Hey, we're getting together for dinner," everybody shows up.
Yeah.
But friends are different. It's like you have to even be more intentional with friends. And I feel like the family thing is like hard for some people to believe.
Yeah. And to your point about Facebook, you know, somebody posts a status on Facebook, and it's like, if you read that, you kind of feel like, oh, I communicated with them today. I liked it.
Yeah, you put
you
a
know, it's
thumbs
like,
up.
oh, I don't have to give them a call. I don't have to check in on them. I seen what they posted on Facebook, so we're good.
Yeah.
I think it's a mental game.
And dude, what made me think of that is I was online with a buddy of mine. This is where this all kind of started. I was online with a buddy of mine, and the past couple times he got online at our party or whatever, I'll be like, "Hey man, how you doing?" He's like, "What's up?" "Oh, nothing, just chilling." And so this last time I talked to him, he was like, "Hey man, what's going on?" And I said, "Hey, I'm just trying to make sure. Are you okay? What's up? Or is everything all right?" Like, he's like, "What do you mean? Everything?" I said, "Yeah, you're good today, but like the past couple times, you've seemed like you've been kind of down or distracted." And in the moment, he was like, "Yeah, man, I'm good. It's fine. Everything's good." And then later on, he like called me up and was like, "Hey, I want to let you know, I appreciate you always wanting to check in with me. This is actually what I was going through and what I'm going through." And we had like a meaningful conversation when he was ready to talk about it.
Right.
But it would have happened had I not been listening to the emotional cues of my friend, you know?
And letting him know that there's an open door for him to talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know that that's being stressed significantly anywhere at any degree of education and any degree of social media and influencers. Nobody's talking about, "Hey man, like you need to be empathetic with people and you sit down and make yourself available." And that's super significant and super important. Maybe there are some influencers who are doing it. I mean, Jordan Peterson talks a little bit about assume you're not the smartest person in the room and listen first, you know. But I still don't think that the focus is more often on making yourself valuable to other people and available.
Yeah. Now there's a big promotion for seeking help, talking to a counselor, talking to a doctor about it, and it's like,
because nobody's got friends.
Yeah, exactly.
So people found this freaking hole and said, "I'm gonna get paid $100 an hour to pretend I'm your friend." There's like, oh my gosh, we solved the whole problem.
Crack the code.
We've cracked the code. We know the secret to the whole psychology industry. Get yourself some quality friends, and you can quit your counseling. Nope, I did not say.
Or just send us $100 and we'll gladly talk to you.
Okay. Look, we are desperate for some friends, and we'd love to be your friend for a small fee of a super thanks on this video.
Got a friend in me.
I don't have an OnlyFans, so I'm not going to be your friend there.
Only friends.
Only friends.
Yes.
Yes. Farmers only. You don't.
Trademark.
You don't have to be lonely at Farmers Only. Only friends. We're making a website. Be a part of it. Also, while we're at it, be our friend and like and comment and share on this video. And make sure you're subscribed.
Send it to your friends.
Send it to your friends. And if you don't have any friends, well,
send it to your enemies.
Watch this video again and send it to your enemies. No, but seriously, I believe that we're called to be good friends as Christians, as believers. And when Jesus, kind of says that that's the greatest love, is that you give your life, lay down your life for your friend. I think it's not just dying on a cross for somebody. I think it's also that you set aside everything that's important to you, and you care about them, and you give of yourself, your time, your effort, making yourself valuable to somebody else. I think that's significant. If you like this clip from the Not Gospel Studios YouTube channel, don't forget to share. Click on one of the other links and videos. You can find them here and subscribe. I think it's down here. Tell your friends about us. Tell them that it's healthy, that it's vegan, and all of those things. Keep being awesome because that's how God made you.